Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Nick and your boy Mike, and we are back again. The Nothing But Niners crew is back as always. Guys, man, if you haven't already and this is your first time here with us, joining us on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you tell a friend about us as well. Spread the love, spread the love. But check out, I know you guys hate the formalities, but we got to go through them. So let's go. Make sure you give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram, Nothing But Niners, all spelled out. Check us out on Twitter and Snapchat, Nothing But Nine, the number 9, ERS. Like I said, that's Twitter and Snapchat. And you can check us out on the World Wide Web, www.nothingbutniners.com. Yes. Guys, so the Niners have made some roster moves today, but before we get into that, man, I got my homie Mike here. What's going on, baby?
What's up, Nick? Man, we out here chilling, having a celebratory cigar because Jersey is back in the building. We're going to get to that later, though. But, yeah, man, it's a nice day. The birds are chirping. I don't know if you can hear them. I'm actually in the middle of a tornado watch, which is weird. I've never seen one of those in Bucks County before, but here I am. So I'm trying to enjoy some of the nice weather before it gets bad. So let's talk about these Niners, though, man.
Look, man, I know you love your Jersey boys, man, but – all right, guys, we'll get into all that. But the Niners made some roster moves today. Anthony Davis was reinstated into the NFL from Commissioner Goodell. The 49ers went after that and released him. So he is no longer a 49er. He can it makes him a free agent. He can talk to anybody that he wants. Secondly, we waived defensive or linebacker Pita Taumoepenu. And we also re-signed another Trent Baalke guy in Dontae Johnson. And I know Mike's excited probably about this because he's a Jersey boy from Pennington. And I'm a Jersey boy too, but I can't get on this train, man. I can't do it. So, Mike, let me hear what you got, man.
All right. So the move that excited me the most, honestly, was releasing Pita Taumoepenu. I know that sounds crazy, right? But this team has been holding on the dead weight because of where people were picked up. And it's really, really good to see the regime being willing to move on. Nick, this should be a great sign for you with the CJ Beathard battle for QB2. This should let you know that they are willing to move on from guys that they've invested draft capital in. And that's one of the reasons I really like this move. They gave him 2 years on that bench. And I remember him on the field 3 times, and every time it was a special teams play. I can't tell you I recall him doing anything of significant value on the actual field playing defense. So I like that move. It's a good sign. It's a good sign for things going forward and what's to come. Also, letting go of Anthony Davis, that's a good thing. We talked about that briefly, although I don't remember what we said. Do you remember what we said about that last night?
Well, it was just a matter of a question of saying, what would you do if the Niners if they did reinstate Anthony Davis? I think you were for it because you were saying that he I don't remember exactly, but you were talking about Person and some other players, but I can't recall exactly what we were talking about. But basically, we were just talking about what would we do if he was reinstated? Would you keep him as a Niner? And we talked about him being here under the Chip Kelly regime, and also obviously before that. So,
and sorry, guys. And we didn't unanimously just say cut him. I can't believe we didn't do that because that's the obvious move. I mean, he's not. You don't want that headache in your locker room. And if you're not going to get anyone to make a trade offer, which I doubt it, no one's going to trust them. You let him go. So I like that move also. And then there's the Dontae Johnson move. News came out earlier this morning that the Niners were working out another person in the secondary. So I thought maybe that would be the move heading in, but it seems like they signed Dontae Johnson. I know a lot of people are going to kill us for that, but there's a couple of things that you have to keep in mind here. I don't know. I should have actually looked it up before we started this. I should have pulled up his PFF grades from last year with his time with the Seahawks. So Nick, if you
he didn't even touch the field.
You sure?
Yeah, positive.
That's interesting. But what I will say is you have a new DB coach here in Woods. And so if Woods is going to be the guy and he feels like maybe he saw something in Dontae Johnson, let's bring him back, then so be it. Here's what you do know. If you pick up a random guy off the street that has never played in the system before with this team, you're teaching them from day one. This guy has been in this system for at least the last 2 consecutive seasons. One season with us here in San Francisco and the other season there in Seattle. He's familiar with the system. He's got the size, he's got the length, he's got the physical requirements that they like of guys in the system, the prototypical cornerback in the system. And so at worst, you're getting a guy that he may not be good. He may not be the fastest guy, the smartest guy, the strongest guy, but he's someone that you don't have to waste time teaching the playbook to. And those are the kind of bodies you need to get through camp. And so if that's what the 49ers are looking to do, I think it's a great pickup. And who knows, maybe he shocks you. Maybe Woods can pull something out of him that we haven't seen before. Maybe he ends up being a guy that, you know, we're all hoping and hitching our wagon to Jason Verrett. I think this. Did you guys see that lightning behind me just then? Oh, I don't know if I should be sitting out here. That was beautiful. It was crazy. I'm sorry. Maybe, you know, we're hitching our wagon on Jason Verrett. But maybe we should be hitching it to a guy like Dontae Johnson. You're looking at long shot for long shot. At least one guy we know can stay healthy. You know, so I'm not saying he's as good as Jason Verrett. I'm not saying he's here to replace Jason Verrett. I think he's here to compete. And he's going to compete at the highest level of a bunch of nobodies off the street. So that's my opinion of him so far, Nick. What are your thoughts on it all over there, man?
All right. Yeah, I didn't see the I was trying to look it up, and he's not even listed as one of their cornerbacks in PFF right now. So I guess there was no grading available on him for Seattle. Look, man, I've never been a fan of Dontae Johnson, and Dontae Johnson is where it all started with me with the word Dookie, him and Rashard Robinson, and that's where it all started. This guy has 2 interceptions, yes, as a Niner, or I think his career, and both of them were taken back as a touchdown. One was against the Rams, like on the 10-yard line or 15-yard line, ran it in. But, I mean, look, I put something on Twitter and people were saying, well, he has no chance of making this roster. Well, obviously he has a chance of making this roster because of the fact that they brought him back. This is another familiarity with the scheme with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. They know who he is, and bringing him back in. But I said to this guy, well, hopefully you're right, but let's hope that he doesn't have to play because of injuries, right? So if he gets on the squad. Now, Dontae Johnson he's not even an average. I don't think he's an average DB in my personal belief of him. If you were this, I'm so angry at this move that if you were to ask me like we asked last night, Jimmy Ward or Dontae Johnson, I would have kept Jimmy Ward. Dontae Johnson is Dookie, bro. He is Dookie. He doesn't make us better in any means of aspect. You're taking away. This is where I always get mad. Like, you're taking away those snaps of those younger corners now to bring in somebody because of familiarity once again.
Let me counter with this. Really quick. And I'm not saying he's any good. I'm not saying he's going to make the roster. But Jimmy Ward is out until what? Preseason week 2, probably, when he can come back and start practicing, something around there, right? Maybe. Remember, I was saying that maybe Jimmy Ward was here to play some corner position, not free safety. We just assumed that he was coming in to play the free safety position. What if Jimmy Ward going down, now we have to pick up someone else who can play the corner position as a depth piece, which is what I've been saying we wanted for Jimmy Ward. And so they grab someone with system familiarity. What if this is a sign saying that Jimmy Ward was never going to be free safety in the first place?
Then why was he taking first team reps as a free safety in OTAs?
Because Adrian Colbert's still bouncing back. And Jimmy Ward he's the number 1 backup at every position, right? I mean, when Richard Sherman couldn't practice in the last offseason, Jimmy Ward was a guy taking CB1 or CB2, depending on how you look at Akello. But he was the opposite side of Akello. He was the starting guy there. And then once Richard Sherman came back, that wasn't Jimmy Ward's spot anymore. Jimmy Ward has consistently been the top backup at every position in the secondary. So now I'm wondering if they feel like they have a hole to fill and the depth of the cornerbacks. So maybe that's all this Dontae Johnson signing is.
Well, as much as I'd like to agree with you, I just don't. I just don't understand the whole concept of this when you got guys there that can play corner. You got legitimate guys. Like, why do we continually keep moving on and cutting these younger guys out? Because Dontae Johnson's going to come in here, and he's probably going to get snaps over a Tavarius Moore or guys like that.
No, that's not true. What would make you think that? Tavarius Moore earned his spot over Dontae Johnson. He already earned the spot higher than Dontae Johnson. That's why they let Johnson go last year.
I understand that.
So why would he suddenly come in and be higher on the depth chart than him? He's obviously the low man on the totem pole. They didn't add anyone new. They didn't go out and draft a bunch of these guys. They didn't add anyone new at the position. So you assume, okay, I will assume that the depth chart is set from the way it was last year. And Dontae Johnson didn't make the cut last year. So he's going to come back at the same low bottom of the totem pole. I don't see him coming in and being bumped up just because we re-signed him. That doesn't make any sense. I think that we're down a DB, and now we need another DB, and the easiest thing to do is get someone that you know.
But I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't agree with you. I don't think we're down a DB. I don't think Jimmy Ward was playing defensive back. You heard Richard Sherman say he's playing. You heard Richard Sherman say in the presser he doesn't have to worry about learning this position, and this position. He is strictly playing safety this year, and that's a fit that fits him, and that's the way it's going to be. And that's what he was doing, obviously. So I don't think that he was playing defensive back as in corner at any point this year. I think we literally lost the safety.
I hear you, but I don't. Richard Sherman's words mean way too much to the fan base than what they should. Richard Sherman also said that Ahkello Witherspoon was great and he was going to have a great year. He was benched. Richard Sherman also said that the 49ers should go out and get Earl Thomas. They never even called them. Richard Sherman has said a lot of things, and none of them are coming true. I get it. He's supposed to say those things. He's supposed to be positive, and if that's where he's playing, that's where he's playing. I don't know. I don't think Richard Sherman's a coach, and I don't think he calls the shots the way that he speaks or as confidently as he speaks at his pressers.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like. I'm tired of going backwards with this team. Like, why are we bringing back people that didn't work out, that we cut from a 53-man roster? Why are we going out and getting guys that we already know weren't working there? Like, that's what I don't understand. We are literally going backwards. There's other guys out there to go forward with, and we're literally constantly going backwards.
All right, well, here's the other argument. What if this isn't going backwards? What if you have and other 49er fans, including myself, have such a bias built up against Dontae Johnson that we don't realize that maybe he was better than Moore or someone else that got the spot? So what you said in the very beginning of this when you mentioned Johnson was that he was a bulky pick. So they cut a bulky pick to keep the guys that they drafted here, right? What if they saw what those guys could do and said, you know what, Johnson actually may have been a little bit better? What if that's what this team thinks? We don't know that.
Well, then if that's the case, then I lose some credibility for our coach because you went and picked somebody over somebody else when you didn't really when you thought somebody was better. So to me, that's where it comes in where I talk about with the CJ Beathard pick. It, like you just said, we just cut Pita Taumoepenu, and that could be something good for us finally cutting ties with our picks. But I lose, if that's the case, then I lose credibility for Kyle Shanahan last year because you didn't keep the best player last year compared to what you have now. And then say, oh, well, I messed up there. Let me bring this guy back.
I get you. And if you guys haven't listened, there's a podcast out there done by Eric Crocker. It's his press coverage podcast. Listen to today's episode. He talked about, in one particular part, was that you might have three really good, like elite players on each side of the ball, and everyone else, he said, there's no difference from the depth from the top of the pole to the bottom of the totem pole. He said that, holy smokes, that was a big bolt of lightning. He said that they're all the same. He said it's just a matter of who gets it. He said a lot of it is luck and a lot of it is politics. It's about where people were drafted. And so what if they thought Dontae Johnson is as good as this guy, or this guy is as good as Dontae Johnson, or this guy's a little worse, maybe we can work with him for a year, and then it turns out he's not, so let's bring Dontae Johnson back. You know, their loyalties, this regime's loyalties, are going to be to the guys that they drafted first. We already know that. We've seen it with CJ Beathard, right? But don't we want them to learn? Don't we want this regime to say, you know what? We made a mistake. Maybe we didn't cut the better guy, and if we got a chance to get him back, He's good depth. He's better depth than what we have. You want the regime to learn and get better. I'm just trying to spin it. Look, I'm just playing devil's advocate because you're saying that you're upset about it. I'm just trying to make you feel better. There's silver lining in it. You might not want to admit it or acknowledge it or whatever, but I don't know their thinking. I'm not in there. I don't know, just like you don't know. I mean, we're just guessing, we're grasping at straws here, but this team, they could literally be learning from their mistakes. It took them 2 seasons to move on from Joe Williams. 2.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. Do you think it was a mistake when we cut Dontae Johnson last year?
I don't know, because he was cut early. I didn't see him playing another year in the system. I have no idea. They cut him, and I was like, all right, we'll see you later. We saw him struggling at the end of the season. So we kind of, if he was coming back, he was coming back. I was hopeful for him to come back. I saw good in him, and I saw bad in him. But I don't know if it was a mistake to cut him. I can't say. But I know that we drafted other corners. I know that we drafted other safeties, that we moved a corner. And I know that the team was going to see what those guys could do. They're not going to keep him for someone that they didn't draft. They just didn't have a vested interest in Dontae Johnson. That's all.
All right. Well,
that's not me trying to duck, Nick. I don't want you to think I'm ducking. I'm answering like with a complete, this is not a Jersey thing at all. This is not a Jersey thing at all. I promise you. I'm not ducking. I can't say definitively that it was a mistake to cut Dontae Johnson.
I just don't understand it. I mean, you were one of the biggest haters of Dontae Johnson as well. And then it's like, now it's a good move. I just don't understand it.
I was the biggest lover. I was on the Dontae Johnson hype train. Are you kidding me? I was
every time he made a penalty or made a mistake or anything else, you were like so hard on him. I sat there and watched games with you.
Yeah, I wanted.
You have called him Dontae Dookie Johnson with me.
I never said Dookie. That was your word.
But you have agreed with me.
Yeah, because a bad play is a bad play, right? We can see that. But like I said, we saw both sides of it though. We've seen Dontae Johnson. Was Dontae Johnson the guy that got the pick 6 and got benched in the same game against Houston? I think it was.
Yes.
Wasn't that him? Like, yeah, it was horrible. He was really bad. I'm not saying that he's not still bad. I don't know that though. I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I don't know of anybody that's ever been cut and come back and has worked different wonders.
I can tell you one thing. I can tell you one thing. He's got something that nobody else on this team has from last year. Pick 6s. Exum is the only one.
Yeah, but he's got 2 over his entire career, right?
He was only with us for 2 years.
Yeah, so he's got 2 in his entire career, and then he's been sitting the pine for the other 2 years that he was with Seattle, or a year when he was with Seattle. So you can't I mean, I don't know, man. It's not like he went somewhere else and he was starting and balling out. This guy sat the pine. And it's literally like, okay, well, are you bringing him in here to learn more because he worked in that system, to learn more about Seattle, or, those type of things? Like I said, I mean, I hope it works out because obviously if he's going to be a Niner and he's going to be on the field, I'm going to try to support him as much as I can. But I can't find it in me right now. I got 100 days to allow myself to think that way.
Nah, he might not even be around that long. Jason Verrett is still being held out of practices. Jimmy Ward is now gone. He could just literally be someone coming in for camp purposes, man. That's all I'm saying. You grab a guy off the street that you think there's some potential in, an undrafted free agent, but you got to teach him the playbook. This guy can come in and he can start running with the 2s or the 3s right away, and you don't have to worry about teaching him the playbook. It's just a matter of seeing what he's got. It's a better way to evaluate him and the other players around him. So,
yeah, I mean, look, one way or another, he's Dookie. So I can't let that go. He's definitely Dookie. I don't understand this move at all. It just worries me. It seems like we're going backwards. To touch on Pita, I really think this guy didn't get a shot, man. Like, I really don't think he got a full shot. Am I upset with the move? Not really. Cool dude on and off the field. I wish him the best. But I do think that he really didn't get a true shot. I mean, we were messing around with Cassius Marshes. We were messing around with such and such. And he was injured. He had a couple injuries, which hurt him. And I think that hurt his overall, but best of luck to him. And, we got some studs here now. So
Pita got a shot. Pita had more than enough opportunities, and he just wasn't good enough to get on the field. You got to remember that Pita was here the same year that our leading sack guy was Elvis Dumerville, 5.5 sacks. And then the year after that, we moved on. We traded away Eli Harold, and he still couldn't get on the field. That was during the Cassius Marsh and the Jeremiah Taumoepenu experiment, and he still couldn't break through. And he was someone that they drafted. You know, they wanted him to succeed that way. He just couldn't do it. Like I said, that was my favorite move of the day. Like seeing that he's dead weight, and you gotta move on. You gotta also remember that they changed up what they wanted him to do. He would have to come in and gain weight or lose weight or whatever it was. No, gain weight. They want him to gain weight, and it didn't work. And the experiment is over.
Let me ask you this: you sit there and say that he had his opportunities, right? That he couldn't get on the field. What do you mean by that?
He never beat out the Jeremiah Attack. Well, technically he did beat out Jeremiah Attacher because he stayed on the roster. But I don't know if he was practice squatted again or what. So he wasn't better than Marsh. He wasn't better than Dumerville. So I think he had opportunities, right?
Well, I mean, he had opportunities as a special teamer, and he played very minimal defensive snaps. That's what I mean where he didn't have a shot. He never really got game time snaps as a linebacker.
Yeah, no, in the games, yeah, absolutely. I don't know what was going on in practice, but in the games, for sure, you're right there.
But the only thing that gets me there is you say that he couldn't beat somebody out because he wasn't better. And I've said that with another player, and it was like, well, they only get 2 or 3 snaps a game, a chance with the starters there. So what's the difference?
The difference is that there was a rotation of guys in front of him constantly. It was a revolving door, and he never got up there. It was a constant revolving door.
But it wasn't that way with the running back group?
What running back group? Who were you talking about?
When we talked about Raheem Mostert, and you said this guy's only getting 3 snaps, there's no way he can prove that he should be on the field.
Right, because Raheem Mostert was never meant to be a running back. He was only here because he was a special teams ace. That's why they brought him in. Raheem Mostert didn't get those looks until boom went down, and boom went down. Then he came in. Pita had the same exact opportunities. He was here on special teams. Boom went down. We traded this guy away, and then he still didn't get the chance. He still didn't get up there.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. He didn't get that shot, and you said that he had plenty of shots.
But the difference is that there was Carlos Hyde, there was Breida, there was Alfred Morris, there was all these guys ahead of Mostert, and when they went down, Mostert showed, all right, I can do it. Those other guys ahead of Pita all went down. Every single one of them went down. Every single one of them were gone. And he still wasn't good enough. That's the difference, is that when he got the opportunity, he didn't do anything with it. I'm sure he took defensive snaps. I've seen him on the field once or twice, but it was nothing significant. That's what I'm saying. He didn't make the best of his opportunity. He got the opportunity and did nothing with it.
Did anybody on that defense?
Did anybody on the defense what?
Really take advantage of any opportunity?
Cassius Marsh, Ronald Blair, even Julian Taylor showed what he could do, at least in preseason. We didn't even see it in preseason from Pita. We never saw him look good. We saw Mostert look good in preseason. You know what I mean? Like, other players did look good when they got their opportunity, albeit short and in preseason, against guys who aren't going to be in the NFL. We never saw it from Pita. So he wasn't good. I hope I answered your questions for you.
No, you answered. I'm just shocked. I just don't understand. I just don't understand the whole he got a shot thing, because those guys got shots in the NFL playing on the line, as in where Pita didn't really get that shot on the line as much as all. That's all I'm saying. He's a young kid. It's not that I fell in love with Pita or I fell in love with these players. It's just a matter of I mean, I'm not there, so I don't see what they're seeing in practice. But it just seems like we're taking these shots and we're replacing young guys with other people who've already had that shot and have proved nothing as well, as to where we're giving up on guys that we have drafted or haven't really gotten a shot. That's all.
I don't know how else to explain it then.
No, you don't. There's nothing for you to explain. I'm not saying I'm right or nor wrong. I'm not saying you're right nor wrong either. I'm just asking that because, like you said, neither of us know what is going on at practice.
Right.
Whereas, like where you say, well, Raheem Mostert only gets 3 snaps, and I'm saying, well, I doubt that's different. But neither one of us know really what he's getting. We could sit here and argue till we're blue in the face, and none of us know if he was really considered a running back or if he was never considered a running back. The same thing goes with Pita T, that we can sit here and say that he's had all the opportunities in the world, and then we could sit here and say that he hasn't had opportunity. None of us really know what that opportunity is. We're literally just taking a shot in the dark and giving our opinions or our takes on it. So neither of us are wrong nor right. I just hope to see that. To me, this Dontae Johnson move looks like we're going backwards. To me, we're bringing back old goods instead of trusting the goods that we have in-house right now, or going out and getting somebody that you think is better than what you have right now. To me, Dontae Johnson isn't better than what we have, anything we have on our roster right now.
So let me ask this question then. Do you think there's any acquisition the Niners are making today, not in a few days, because this is something else I want to talk about in this breaking news video. Do you think that there's anyone the Niners are signing today that has a legit shot at making the roster? Other than the fact that they're here, I mean, there's always a 1% chance. But do you think that we're picking up anybody on May 29th or 28th or whatever today is that has a legit shot at making the roster? Probably not, right? It's going to be some undrafted guy or somebody from the CFL or AAF.
But is there people that they can sign that can make this roster? Absolutely.
Well, who would you have preferred? Well, never mind. That's a rabbit hole there. But,
yeah, that's just. I mean, I'm just saying there are people that they could sign today, so that's kind of an open-ended question because there is people that they could sign on May 29th who can start on this team.
I don't know about starters. I don't know about there being starters until after June 1st. June 1st is when I'm really going to get to see, or the second even, when the June 1st designations come out. I do think that we cut 2 guys and we picked up 1. So is there another roster spot? Well, Anthony Davis doesn't count as a spot. So when we take him out, then what do? We let go of Pita to sign Dontae? Is that it?
Yeah.
See, if we had made another move, I would have thought something different because there's guys that are going to be available after June 1st. The teams are going to save a lot of cap money, and those guys are going to become available. For example, the Vikings and Everson Griffin. You know what I mean? He's someone that the Niners might be able to get late in the offseason that has a shot at coming in and starting or competing or being a rotational player.
Well,
but when we pick up guys like the young man that we were working out this morning, I can't remember his name. But I don't think that he was
Kayvon Webster.
Yes, Webster. Yes, very good. Good. I don't think that Webster was ever going to come in here and compete with Akello Witherspoon or Richard Sherman for a starting corner spot or even a Kawan Williams. I don't think that anyone that was being signed right now is going to be looked at as someone that's going to be starter material over a Moore. You know what I mean? Or anybody, or a Reed or a Harris or anything like that. I don't think that that's happening right now. June 1st, when bigger names get cut because they're saving more money, then those are the guys that you say, man, we could have got somebody who could come in and contribute. But right now, I think it's just keeping 90 and trying to make your team better day by day, just more competition.
Right, and I agree with that, as in where you're going to see a lot of teams get, people get released after June 1st and things like that, and money savings and cap savings. But it's not impossible to sign somebody that you think can start right now, May 29th. I mean, there's free agents out there that you can sign. Your guy, Gerald McCoy, you can sign right now. Trey Boston, Eric Berry. There's guys out there, Shane Ray for, just throwing names out there, but there's not that I want any of them, but there's
Shane
guys
Ray is on the team already. But yeah, I get what you're saying though. Like I get what you're saying. I'm thinking that they're looking for depth and they want to keep pushing the corners to get better. So for example, let me just ask this really quick and then we can wrap this up. But do you think that this motivates a guy like Moore or Reed to work harder as opposed to picking up a lineman where we already know who our starting 3 of the 4 are going to be? We already know Buckner, Bosa, and Ford are going to be out there and playing. the fourth guy, we know Eric Armstead is in the mix. We know Solomon Thomas is in the mix. We know that Kentavious Street's going to be here. So you get a guy like a Gerald McCoy. Now he's going to take away snaps from young guys. Then I understand this is what we're doing. We're hurting the young guys. But if you pick up someone like Dontae Johnson, do you think the guy that was drafted the year that he was let go of is like, oh man, maybe I need to step it up a little bit more? Like, do you think it plays a head game for that type of guy? He doesn't feel like necessarily he's going to take my spot, but he could take my spot. You think it motivates him a little bit?
I think it starts with the way the coach approaches it. Because if the coach is telling you day in, day out that every position is like replaceable, no matter who you bring in at position-wise, it should bring motivation to you, whether you're a for sure starter or not. And I think it's the way that the coach brings it up. I mean, he says it all the time. We're trying to get better day by day. And if you bring in a position of mine, even though, like, let's say let's just say I'm D Ford. I don't want to say Boza because he was the second overall pick, but still, in that case, there have been picks that don't start right away. You know what I mean? Like, because they're not ready or they just didn't adapt well or things like that. So it's still possible. So anybody that's brought in for any type of position, everybody should always motivate you and just want to work harder. So, I mean, to me, it's like, okay, well, maybe they're not thinking that, but maybe they are. So I better work my tail off and prove that I should be where I'm at. I think every day in the NFL is a prove it point. Like, it literally is.
All right. And my last little bit of devil's advocate is this. The Niners actually have another kicker right now who's on the roster. Not Robbie Gould, but another kicker. Do you think that Robbie Gould is worried that his job with the Niners isn't secure?
No.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. There's certain players that are just like, I know I'm secure now. And I don't think that Robbie Gould is worried about any other kicker that the Niners bring in right now. So I think that you have to,
the only reason I don't think that is because he doesn't care. I don't think he really cares if he plays or if he sits. That's the only reason I think that. If he was to the point where he wasn't going to get paid, like, that money's guaranteed. So if he wasn't going to get paid, I think he would be there with his unhappiness or whatever, because he'd be worried about that. With him getting a guaranteed paycheck and not caring if he actually plays or if he sits, I don't think he really gives a shit, truthfully.
Well, if he sits, he doesn't get paid, though. But he does have to show up and play. But once he makes the 53, then it's guaranteed. So I get you, man. We'll see what happens, though, man. I wouldn't overreact to this one. This one is more fun than it is breaking news, and I thought we would have some fun with this one. I didn't know you were going to be in like a panic mode over it all, man.
No, I'm not in a panic mode. I'm just saying, like, I just don't like these stupid moves. To me, they're stupid moves. Like, there's other guys you could have brought in over a guy that I didn't like. Like, even a McFadden, like that. He knows the system. To me, it's just like we're going backwards, and that's what it seems to me. Signing old players. It's like you hear every 49er fan out there, bring back Carlos Hyde, bring back Eric Reed, bring back Navarro Bowman, bring back P. Willis, bring back, Colin Kaepernick. You bring back the past. Hell no. I'm ready to move to the future. Bring other players in here to prove that they belong here instead of somebody who couldn't make the team last year. No matter how it was, he didn't make the team. Whether it was Kyle Shanahan made a mistake or if he didn't. And if he did make a mistake and he's trying to lean up to that, then I lose credibility for Kyle Shanahan because you didn't pick the better player at that point.
You prefer McFadden over Dontae Johnson?
Well, I'm just saying, why get rid of somebody? You know what I mean? I would prefer somebody new. But if you're going to say it's because of a camp body and familiarity with the offense or the defense and things like that, then I would have brought back the younger guy in McFadden and let him learn more, compared to Dontae Johnson, who's had that 4-year stint in the NFL and has done nothing. Like, your play speaks, right? And he's got 2 career interceptions and like 21 passes defensed. and then sat the Pine on a good team. So if he wasn't good enough to beat somebody else out on other teams, then just let what we have ride. Like, I don't think our corner spot is really that much in dire need as much as we are safety wise. That's just, I don't know. It's not panic. It's just it just makes me worry about how Kyle Shanahan is doing things, because I don't want to go backwards, especially the bulky era. I definitely don't want to go back to that era. And and if it's to, like I said, if it's to mend that he made a mistake before, then I lose a little bit of credibility, because you as a coach aren't keeping the best players like you say you're doing.
All right. Well, I don't have a rebuttal for anything. I guess that's it for this breaking news then.
Yeah, so I don't have anything else either. It was fun though. Somebody asked if we're doing a show tonight. I just saw. I don't know yet. We haven't figured that one out yet. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm glad you're excited for your Pennington boy. But yeah, I don't know, bud. How was your day? Good?
Oh yeah, all is well in my world, man. Waiting for the storm to come. I wanted to go ahead and rain.
I'm trying to keep you out there so it pours on you. Like, that's literally what I'm trying to do.
It passed me already. It drizzled and then it stopped. The lightning came, it went, it's over now. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm excited that the team is moving on from drafted players. I do like that a lot. Albeit they were late round draft picks, but I like that they're moving on, man. To me, it shows growth in the front office, and it also shows that maybe they have some more faith in the new position coaches as well. So we'll have to see what happens, man. We'll have to see.
Yeah, no, like I said, I agree with you that the team is moving on. Whether they drafted players or not, that is a good sign. It's just the sign that throws me off, like I said, is bringing back older players for that situation. But like I said, whatever way it goes, man, we will see. We will see. And I just like playing devil's advocate too.
Well, I've got a big devil's advocate theory that I've been working on, that if we want to do a show tonight, it's about the running back position. I don't think that it's going to go the way people think it's going to go. So, and it has nothing to do with Raheem Mostert either. Don't worry. So we can do that tonight. It'll be a quick hitter because I don't have a lot on it, but I just think that it's not going to go the way people think it's going to go. Teaser alert.
Teaser alert.
All right, guys.
Wait, hold on. Is there a guy in the backfield that's from New Jersey? No, we're okay. We're okay. So, all right, Mike, man, that's pretty much all I got too.
All right, faithful. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.
We out of here. Peace.